Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. In today's video I'm going to be doing a monthly check-in video. If you have been wondering where I've been for the last 2 months, then I'll leave a card up here for a video that I filmed just before this explaining where I've been and things like that. I do feel like it's been a recurring sort of theme on my channel where I film bits and bobs here and there and then I go silent for a while and I make an update video. I do, fingers crossed, hope that this is the final time that I'll be making sort of an update video and I won't go silent again, but we'll see what happens. Life happens. I'm just hoping that I can find better coping mechanisms for things going forward. So yeah, I'm going to be starting from scratch again. I know that I started from scratch in January, but I feel like that's the best thing to do at the moment, is just to have a clean slate, not look back on things that have happened and just move forward from here. I am going to be sticking with the same format. For those that are new, I don't weigh myself on my channel, haven't done for a very long time. People might think that that is maybe the reason why I am not making progress. I disagree. I feel like the scales is a very toxic thing for me. It's very demoralising. I tend to associate my self-worth with the number on the scales, and if things aren't going my way, if it doesn't shift and things like that, it can be very sort of detrimental to how my progress is going forward. I feel like I've been a lot better with the method that I use at the moment, which is to rely on progress shots, measurements and a goal try on clothing section at the end. Whilst I haven't made progress over the last however many years doing that method, I don't think that's because of the method I'm using. I think that's just because of other things that have been going on each month and things like that, and my way of coping with things. I don't think that's because I'm not weighing myself. So I'm going to continue with that going forward. I just don't think it's a very good idea for me to associate myself with a number on the scales. So I do know my weight, and yeah, it did set me back quite a bit, which is, it reiterates the point of why I don't weigh myself, but I needed that number in order to work out my calories and things like that for my sort of starting point. So I don't intend to weigh myself unless things drastically change weight-wise and I need to rework out my calories, but it's not going to be a regular thing that I do. I won't be sort of updating you on what that number is, just because I really just want to forget about it for now and move on from here. So maybe at some point in the future I will share what that number was, but for the time being it's just something that I want to put to the back of my mind and just work out my calories and get on with it from here. So moving on, like I said, I'm not going to rehash anything that was in my previous video. I'm just going to get on with my check-in. So I'm going to have my progress shots first, my measurements and my goal try on clothing section. Slightly different change just because Philip is watching Formula 1 downstairs and I wasn't able to talk. I'm going to sort of mute the clips because it's just got Formula 1 in the background and I don't want to get sort of copyrighted or anything for that. So I'm going to do a voiceover for that. There won't be any sort of side-by-side comparisons with the previous month because, like I said, I'm starting from scratch again. So I'm just going to have this month. And the other thing that is changing is something that someone mentioned to me in a comment. I think it was on my last video actually, where they asked why I compared my current month to the previous month. I don't really know why that is specifically, but it's just something that I did right from the start. But they did say that it might be better for me to compare my current month to my starting point because that might sort of be better. And I do tend to agree. I think same with the scales, when things don't change as much or there are very little changes, it can be very demoralising. So I feel like if I change up my format slightly for these videos going forward, I am going to always compare my current month to my starting progress shots. That will also be easier for editing, but I feel like I may notice bigger changes that way rather than comparing side by side for a month and then not really seeing anything. It might be a bit demoralising, so this might work out better. We'll see how it goes, but that's just how I'm going to keep it now. So I'm going to be doing this sort of starting progress shot, which will be this month, and this month will be what my starting is for the rest of the videos. You'll understand as I sort of go forward with the monthly check-ins. Sorry if I confused you with that. I am a bit rusty when it comes to making videos again, so bear with me. So yeah, I don't think I've got anything else really to say, because if you've watched the previous video, you will sort of understand where or what has been going on over the last 2 months. So I'm going to go straight into doing my actual check-in. So I'm going to do progress shots first, do measurements, do my goal, try on clothing section, and then I'll come back at the end to sort of set some intentions for the month ahead. So let's get into it. Okay, so we are on the measurement section next. So I'm going to sort of fast forward this section of the video just because I don't think you really need to watch the whole thing of me taking the measurements, and I'll come back in a minute to discuss everything. Okay, so I forgot that I've got a section at the end that I usually talk through, and I don't have that now, so I've got to do that whilst I'm still taking my measurements. So I'm going to put a screenshot up on the screen now of my measurements currently, and then going forward I'll have my comparison of my measurements for starting and any current month going forward. So like I said, don't have any sort of losses or pluses for anything just because I'm starting over. So these are current measurements, and yeah, anything going forward will be compared with the results today. Okay, so we are on to goal try on clothing section in this video. So I'm going to be showing you the 3 items in clothing that I'm going to be trying on. So I've got the black jeans here with the ripped knees. They're from Tesco's. I think they're in a size 18. Got this star dress from, I think it's New Look, in a size 16 that I'm going to be trying on. And then I've got my Berghaus jacket, which is a jacket I've worn in the past, but it doesn't fit at the moment. That's in a size 16 as well. So I'm going to be trying those on, seeing how they fit, and then that will be my sort of comparison going forward. So I'll leave you to watch this. Okay, so that is all my measures of progress done. So I've done my progress shots, my measurements, and my goal try on clothing section. I had no expectations with any of those. They are just a starting point moving forward. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to be comparing that with my starting point as today. And then any months going forward will be a comparison with today's results. So that is that. I guess I've got to set some intentions going forward. So intentions fitness wise are to do some sort of activity every day. It would be ideal to do at least 3 runs a week, but I'm happy with 2 runs a week for the time being. And on the off days, I would like to at least get in some walking, some sort of activity for the day to keep myself moving. Like I said, I have been doing incline walking on the treadmill on my off days from running, so I'm hoping that that continues going forward. Philip has been going in the gym, not so much recently, but hopefully I include some sort of gym workouts in there. I'm not sure what workouts they're going to be, whether I reinstall the app that I was using in the past or whether I make my own thing up. We'll see how that goes. So I will keep track of the exercise that I do every day, and I'll sort of update you on that next month. And then the other thing is my food. Food is my downfall, basically. It has been my downfall for a long time. I mentioned, I can't remember whether it was the beginning of this video or my previous video that I did, that I am an emotional eater. When things are stressful, when emotions are heightened and things like that, my coping mechanism is food, and I feel like I need to find a different outlet for the stresses. Maybe it is that when I get stressed I go out for a run or whatever, but I need to find a different coping mechanism other than food, because I feel like that's let me down a lot of times in the past. Like any month in the past that I've had something going on, it's been derailed by the fact that I haven't been on it with my food. I feel like I've been really good with my exercise in things that have happened in the past, but it's just been my food that's been my letdown, so I really sort of need to get a handle on that. If anyone has any advice on what to use as a coping mechanism going forward, because obviously, like I said, my exercise has been pretty good when I was doing London Marathon training and whatever else. I was pretty on it with my exercise, so maybe running isn't the best coping mechanism for that because it clearly didn't work. But I'm not sure what else to do as a coping mechanism for that. I am more conscious of my food. We have been more conscious of the choices that we make in the supermarket for a weekly shop. We are still doing HelloFresh 3 times a week. I have been going into the app for that and selecting lower calorie meals, so I have been better with that, and we have been better with choosing our dinners for the evening and having them a bit lower in calories. I have been making better choices at work. I've been having a set sort of like breakfast and then a lower calorie lunch. Snacks have been better choices, so we've been having lower calorie snacks, so it hasn't been like 200 calorie snacks and cream eggs here, there and everywhere. So that has been much better as well. So I'm just hoping that I can keep with those habits that we've been making over the last 2 or so weeks and keep that going forward to get some sort of progress. It would be really good if I could have a really good month this month to sort of I guess instill some positivity. But we'll see what happens. So they are my 2 intentions: to do some form of exercise every day. Ideally I want 3 runs a week, and then to start tracking my calories again. I think that it's important to have that accountability there and to be able to see what my calories are, even if I'm not on track that day. I think it's still important to log it and be aware of the calories that I'm eating, even if I'm off track. So it's important that I track every day. So they are going to be the 2 things that I do. I'll have some sort of like spreadsheet or whatever to track those 2 things, and then I'll update you next month. But that is it. I'm not going to ramble on for too much longer. I do need to do the editing for this as well, so I'll get around to that. But it is good to be back, and hopefully I will not have another 2-month break and I can cope better with things, but we'll see how things go. So I'm going to end the video here. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can always click the notification bell down below and be notified of when my videos go live. Other than that, hope you're all staying safe and well. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend, whenever it is that you're watching this, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.